Kagabi ay marami akong nakitang mga video and also sa press briefing ng mga House Prosecution Panel na tuwang-tuwa sila sa performance nila kahapon. And siyempre, sinuportahan ito ng mga vloggers na sumusuporta kay BBM. Pero ano nga ba yung totoong na-achieve ng prosecution kahapon sa testimonya ni Matibag and all the other incidents na nangyari kahapon? Ito si Attorney Mike Operario. Let's break it down a little further at pag-usapan natin yan. Pagkahapon nga, pagbukas ko ng mga posts sa Facebook, nakita ko na may mga ilan-ilan pa rin naman na mga kinukongratulate ang mga prosecution team at tuwa sila sa performance ni Matibag. And I was wondering, ano kaya yung pinapanood nila? Because yesterday, what has been established ng dalawang testigo ay inulit lang nitong si Matibag. Parang ang pare-pareho lang sila ng testimonya, but the credibility of the witnesses are getting worse. And I think ang ginawa ng depensa dito kay Matibag was masterfully done. Kagaya kasi ng sinasabi ko noon, forget about the video. The video is already there. Napanood din ng maraming tao at mas marami I think ang hindi na-offend. Natuwa pa nga siguro sa mga pagmumura na ginawa ni Sara Duterte kasi yung kanyang pagmumura na hindi natin magawa ay ginawa niya. So, it did very little in so far as the credibility of Sara Duterte is concerned. So, Article 4 is not achieving its purpose. However, dito sa cross-examination, binigyan ng oportunidad ang depensa para ipakita sa taong bayan kung ano yung kalalagayan at sitwasyon ng mga nagtitestigo laban kay Sara Duterte. Take the case of Director Matibag. Si Matibag ay sinasabi niya na mayroong grave threats. Pero nga naipalabas yung ganyang video noon na nagmumura siya. Talagang nananakot siya. Na sinasabi niya, ipapapatay kita. Pag pinapatay kita, walang ebidensya. At minura pa niya yung tao. And then, dinidepensa niya that it was just in a heat of anger. Pero yung derechahang tinakot niya na papatay niya yung tao. Kay Sara Duterte, wala namang ganun. The threat was conditioned upon the happening of an event, kung ipapapatay siya. Kagaya nga ng sinabi ko sa inyo noon, para lang po yung yung hinahamon ka ng suntukan. Kaya may nagkumpronta sa'yo, sabi sa'yo, sasapakin ka. And then sinabi mo sa kanya, sige, sapakin mo ako. Pag sinapak mo ako, ipapabugbog kita sa tatay ko. Meron na bang krimen na nangyari nung panahon na yon? Wala pa. Kasi it's going to happen only kung siya ay sasapakin. So if that ever happens, sinapak siya at gumanti yung kabilang partido o yung mismong nasapak, he will be entitled to the self-defense. Kasi sinapak muna siya. So pareho din yun. Dito sa ginawa ni Matibag, sinasabi niya dahil nagalit siya, ginawa niya yon. So why is he being supposed to be understood or bigyan siya ng pagkakataon na idepensa yung sarili niya na siya ay nagalit lamang at hindi ito pwede kay Sara Duterte? Because if he is going to follow his own standard na kapag ikaw ay galit, justified ka na, so pwede nang magsalita ng ganon. So kung what is good for the goose should also be good for the gander. At dito sa sitwasyon na ito, naipakita talaga yung hypocrisy ni Director Matibag. Isa pa dito, siya yung nag-iimbestiga supposedly ng kaso ni Sara Duterte. But even before he was appointed as NBI Director, sa kanyang mga column, mga 4 na column yata yun, ay siniraan niya na siniraan at binabanatan niya si Sara Duterte. At tinatawag niya nga itong Bratinela. So, how can he be a fair judge tungkol dito sa kaso ni Sara Duterte when he himself has already prejudged si Sara Duterte? What it showed ay kagaya din nung naipakita na sa unang 2 testigo that prior even to the investigation ng NBI ay meron na silang decision, meron ng resolution. This is not about finding out the truth. This is about destroying Sara Duterte. At mag-iimbento ka na nga lang ng kaso, kagaya nga nito, ng mga pinagagagawa nila. As I have told you, and it is being manifested right now, pero alam na ito ng mga iskombro, mga taong nanonood, hindi ito para sa mga senador. Yung mga facts that they are showing today, this is not for the senators because the senators have already decided on it may desisyon na yung mga yan bago pa man mag-umpisa ang impeachment. Kaya nga, nagpapakahirap itong sina Erwin Tulfo no, na mapababa, sila Ping Lacson, mapababa yung threshold ng voting from 16 to 14. Kasi alam nila, as of the moment, wala yan. Ano, there is no way that they can impeach Sara Duterte if you're going to rely on the count of the senators today at 13-11. So, ang pag-asa na lang nila dito, ibaba yung threshold, siraan si Sara Duterte, hoping that sa pamamagitan ng impeachment na ito, there will be enough public pressure and the impression against Sara Duterte ay mag-turn into a negative, therefore forcing the other senators to switch sides. Yan ang taktika dito at ang strategiya dito. But so far, that has not materialized. And I think it's doing the opposite. The numbers will not lie. Pabagsak ng pabagsak ang figures ni Bongbong Marcos. Since they started itong mga impeachment proceedings against Sara Duterte, there is nothing that they are doing that are helping them at the moment. Pasama lang ng pasama ang nangyayari. At mamaya magpapatuloy na naman ang investigasyon. More of the same things. Still, they are going to attempt to destroy yung credibility ni Sara Duterte. But not with evidence, but with made out facts. Kagaya nito, yung unsigned. Just, grabe. Insulto talaga ito. Yung sinasabi ni Senator Cayetano, ni Pia Cayetano, even to the law students na nag-aaral ngayon. Tapos presentahan tayo ng ganitong klaseng mga dokumento na unsigned affidavit, unnotarized affidavit, and yet you will admit it. It is purely hearsay. You cannot read into the records statement of a person. Lalo pa kung ito ay unsigned and lalo na unnotarized din. So who's gonna verify kung totoo yung kanyang sinasabi? Sino yung magiging liable for perjury kung itong dokumento na to ay mapatunayan na false yung statement doon? Di wala. So that is the reason why hindi pwedeng i-admit as document or as evidence itong mga affidavits na to that were never verified, na hindi na-establish kung sinong pumirma, kung pinirmahan niya ba. And pero nakita nyo the way na gumugulong itong proseso ngayon sa Senado, kagaya na sinabi natin, don't expect na makakakuha ng favorable ruling ang depensa dito insofar as their objections sa mga ebidensyang ipipresenta. This has been predetermined. Even the presiding officer obviously is into this. They're part of this, they're part of the majority, and they're gonna do this. However, ang impression na nakikreate ito sa mamamayan is already set already. Kitang-kita na namin. This is the beauty of media, this is the beauty of people discussing these issues. Maraming mga maalam nagdidiskurso tungkol dito. And the iskombros, yung mga iskombro ng mundo, hindi na po maloloko dito sa mga palabas na ito because patuloy tayong nagmamasid, nakikilahok, nag-aaral. Kasi nga, alam nating lahat, mahirap makialam ang taong walang alam. As we have predicted before, this is exactly what's gonna happen. Nung Saturday po, in-interview ako sa Net25 and I said, tinanong ko doon kung anong tingin ko mangyayari doon sa PINA. I said it will be issued because yan nga po ay didesisyonan along partisan political lines, hindi po doon tungkol sa mga legalidad. All of those legalities, ibabasura yan, hindi yan ikukonsidera kasi politika ang pinag-uusapan dito sa impeachment. That being said, that means all other motions or all other evidence na ipipresenta dito sa Senado, which otherwise would have been inadmissible sa korte, ay pwede nilang i-admit because all they needed is just a majority. So, kagaya kanina, merong affidavit ni Las Cañas, which is unsigned, siyempre unnotarized, which was presented in evidence. Pero, it was objected to, pero inadmit pa rin ng presiding chair. Well, of course, alam na natin yun, that's what's gonna happen. But the effect nito, again, nadadagdagan lang yung mga abuse of discretion na po pwedeng i-challenge ng kampo ni Sara Duterte sa Korte Suprema. Parami ng parami ito, no? As the hearing goes along, ang naipapakita nito sa taong bayan is that this administration is gonna do everything para ilatag lahat ng mga ebidensya na kahit hindi admissible. Yung mga bank records, AMLAC records, malinaw naman yung batas yan. Kaya lang, bendalo nga, no? So, you bend the law so that magkasya pa rin doon sa kahit na safe na sikip ang kanilang presentation, pipilitin nila na mapagkasya ito para lang makahanap sila ng ebidensya against Sara Duterte. What is very telling is yung pagtatanong ni Alan Peter Cayetano kay Chel Joc, no? Na yung sinasabi nila dito yung sa confidentiality, na kapag kay BBM, it's confidential. Pag kay Sara, hindi na ito confidential. And the law is very clear on this. And I think talagang magkakaroon ng constitutional challenge dito. However, ang tanong dito is that will the Supreme Court again address this on time? Makakapag-issue ba sila ng TRO to stop the proceedings at this juncture? Pero the fact of the matter is, again, babalik ka doon sa basic counting, 16 pa rin ang kailangan nila na boto. And everything that is happening right now doon sa Senado is correctly as we predicted. Yung statement po ni Matibag kanina, wala namang pinag-iba doon sa unang dalawa ng testigo. The same investigation report, same documents, and same conclusion. Wala pa rin silang alam kung meron talagang killer na hinire. And si Matibag, kagaya ni Lontok, nung naggagawa lang ng mga legal conclusion that the security of the president is also a national security concern, which of course many of us will disagree. I think the greatest national security threat at the moment is actually the president. If you will remember in history, meron pong mga conspiracy theories noon, which find basis naman in historical records. Si John F. Kennedy, one of the theories there why he was shot is that because of his addiction with cocaine. Yung kanyang addiction with drugs has become so manifest that he has become a national security threat. As a matter of fact, in one biography, it was depicted na during the negotiations with Khrushchev, itong si John F. Kennedy was actually high on drugs, and it was showing na super tense siya doon sa negotiations. Si Khrushchev was so calm and composed. And si John F. K. was obviously parang he's so rattled. And eventually yung missiles of October crisis in Cuba was also triggered by this paranoia. And one of the conspiracy theories na inilatag noon was that he was eliminated by the CIA because although he is very popular, is becoming a national security threat. And that is what drugs will do to a leader. You're nagiging paranoid ka, and your paranoia becomes a threat to the nation. And those things are possible even today. Noong pa man, sinabi ko na, as early as last year, gumawa ako ng video tungkol dito that one of the greatest security threat to the government is actually the government itself, dahil dito sa mga nangyayari sa ating bansa. So nothing in the statement of Matibag actually ay nagproduce o naglatag ng karagdagang ebidensya na maglalapit sa kanila doon sa dulo ng Article 4. After so many days, would you imagine, tatlong testigo from the NBI to prove one point, the video. The motives, so yung mga pananakot daw na talagang papatayin si BBM, pupugutan ng ulo, ay napakalayo po naman po talaga. Would you imagine taking a clip from a 10-second clip, yung sinasabi nila na si Sara Duterte ay tinetreaten si BBM, siya ay pupugutan ng ulo. They took a 13-second clip from a video interview that is almost 2 hours. And that's exactly what they did also doon sa isa pang video. Yung press conference niya na kung sinabi niya doon na ipapapatay niya pag siya ay pinatay, si Sara Duterte ay ipapapatay din niya si BBM. They cut a clip, a very short clip of the 2-hour na na interview sa kanya. And this has been always the strategy. And kung ikaw ay nakikinig, matatawa ka doon sa ginagawa nila kasi parang ipinipresume nila na hindi natin nadinig yung buong video. And that we're so stupid that we won't even understand what's going on. But the truth of the matter is, ang katotohanan nito, alam na po ng taong bayan, ng mga iskombro, na kung ano ang totoong nangyayari. And it is because marunong na tayo, maalam na, sanay na ang taong bayan dito sa nangyayari sa ating bansa. Sapagkat patuloy tayong nakikinig, patuloy tayong nakikialam, at patuloy tayong nagsisipag-aral. Kasi alam nating lahat, mahirap talagang makialam ng taong walang alam. God bless you, God bless us all. Mabuhay ang Republika ng Pilipinas, and we are the resistance.